Hey everybody, Psychosaurus is here. Welcome back to Age of Empires Online. And today I want to talk about controlling your army. And by that I mean attack move versus move and stop combination. Now everyone knows you make the big army, hey, you are ready to destroy the enemy, right? And so you want to be as efficient with your army as much as you can. Now of course that means hey, you want to sometimes combine using the attack move, sometimes you want to use move and stop. So let's start with the attack move. Now, attack move is very simple. Basically, what it means is, hey, you order your units to move into a certain location, and while they are moving into that location, they will attack anything that's within their distance, or within their attack range, I should say. Now, just to showcase, hey, I ordered these Gastras to attack move over here. What you do is you press A, or you can hold left alt key and then left click or right click to the certain location, and you can see they're already attacking. You can see there's stuff to break, so they'll go and attack it, and when they see it, hey, they go, they attack it. You can see they decide to attack here. So that's the main thing how the attack move works. Very simple, very straightforward. Now, as you can see, there's already one big disadvantage, as your units can suddenly start attacking walls, for example, which is a waste of damage. You don't really want to focus on the walls unless you're like breaking gates, but usually you just focus fire the gates. And you could see, like, I ordered them to go over here, but instead they decided to go over here, like way over here to this tower. You can see it's being damaged. So that's one thing. Attacks something you don't really want, for example the walls. Sometimes they go somewhere where you don't want them to go, and it can be even worse when there's like one scout unit running by. Suddenly they start focusing on that unit and they will start chasing it, and they can chase it for a long time. That's like one really huge disadvantage that can happen. So at that moment you really want to control your army a little bit. Now another thing that can be very big disadvantage, you can see I ordered them now, they focus on this. Yeah, sure, they attack this tower, but what if let me move over here. What if I order them to attack move over here? You can see some number of ranged units, right? So if I order attack move, you can see they start attacking. But you can see it's pretty inefficient, as they are focusing one unit at a time. You can see they're spread. They'll focus probably multiple units. You can see they're also going after those units. They're prioritizing the units mainly. But if this tower was active, they would start hitting those Gastras and they would be taking free damage. You would lose few units. That wouldn't be good. But you can see it's pretty good at destroying. But very inefficient. As you could see, focusing one unit at a time, which can cause an overkill, which can be a waste of time as well. And sometimes you could see it as well, going under the towers, taking free damage. Imagine even fortress, like, oof, don't really want that, right? So that's pretty inefficient. Okay, now I showed you like the disadvantages, but when should you use like the attack move? Well, you should use it mainly when, hey, you want your army to move into some location. Like, for example, if I wanted them to move over here, but I don't really want to pay attention to them at the moment, and instead focus like, hey, I want to like focus on my villagers. I want to place my farms around. I want to, hey, order these to move here. Now train some caravans. You know, a lot of stuff around your base. That means you will not really focus on your army. At that moment, you just want to attack move, and they will do whatever they can to destroy the enemy. Now, obviously, you don't really want to you don't really want them to move like that for too long. As you can see, these guys are like ignoring stuff around them. Sometimes that can be also an issue. So basically, you just don't want to use it sometimes, but at the same time, you don't want to use it for too long. And as you can see, they started ignoring these walls. That's a thing that's also sometimes happening to me when using attack move. Sometimes they just don't really attack at all, and they just move into the location, which for some reason it's really confusing to me. How is this happening? And sometimes when some units, or yeah, sometimes they like reach the location, like few units, or get really close, but they don't really reach that location. That's another disadvantage I've noticed. I don't know if it's like something like the way it works, but yeah, that happened to me as well. But yeah, attack move, you don't really want to use it that much unless you're like going into location and you don't want to pay attention to your army at the moment. So that would be the one situation. And yeah, one good use that I've found out was when I was trying the phalanx. You can check out my video about the Greek advisor units. I was talking about it with the phalanx. I found it that the melee units with extra range can be actually pretty good with this. Now, obviously, as I said, when you use attack move, they will focus like only few units at a time. Now, this is pretty good for phalanx, for example, because they have the increased attack range. And when you do usually melee units, you don't really want to use the attack move neither, because basically they will just dance around those units. You know, they will just start focusing this one unit. They'll want to get close to it, but there's like a lot of other units they could be focusing instead. So that would be the issue. But with phalanx and the increased attack range, that one target will try to get close, and the phalanxes will just utilize the increased attack range, and so they will just focus that one unit. And once that unit is dead, they will just focus on their nearest unit. So that way you can utilize attack move as well. And I think that's all I have to say about the attack move. Now about the other way to control your units, and this is something you can see me a lot using during the quest in my videos, which is stop and move. Basically, all you need to do is just right click, hey, you right click, your army is moving, then you press S to stop, or whatever hotkey you have is set for. And this way they will stop, and they will decide to attack the nearest unit, okay? That is available, or I should say the best target. Now, obviously, this is good like this. Yeah, you stop it, hey, Gastras, insta, kill this berserker. Now, the advantage of this is actually, this is a lot better, more efficient than the attack move, as this will allow you to spread the damage, like this. See? They're attacking multiple structures at the same time. Very efficient, very good for your damage spread, less damage overkill. Now, of course, sometimes you want to focus that one unit, but usually you will do that just right click that unit, right? You move, hey, press stop. Okay, this is dead, whatever. You move, you right click this one, you want to focus it. Right click, focus it. But yeah, the stop button, the stop key, will just allow you to spread the damage as evenly as possible. Now, the way this works, actually Kevsoft made a blog about this, one of those bank blogs. I definitely recommend reading that, how actually it works. Basically, it's like, hey, you have an enemy unit. Now, for your unit to actually focus on that unit, there are multiple factors, like, for example, is it already being attacked by your other units? How far away is it? Is it structure or unit? That can be also a factor. For example, Castrafetes will focus more on the units, while Palintonons, for example, will focus on buildings. So that's how the spread basically works. I'll put the link in the description if I find it on the forums, so you can read it for yourselves. It's a pretty nice reading. It's very informative and explains how this move stop works. Now, obviously, you want to utilize this as much as you can. Now, you can see with Gastrofetes, this is very good. Remember, Gastrofetes attack very early during the attack animation. So you move them, and you can move them again, okay? You stop, you can move again. You stop. See, and you can move them again. So Gastrofetes, this is why I feel like this was perfect. To use Gastrofetes. Perfect example how efficient it can be. Basically, you stop, you attack the enemies, you can move. With Gastrofetes, this is very important as this makes them actually more mobile than they might seem, because usually they have very low movement speed. You can see 5.2. Normal unit has like 6. So Gastrofetes are one of those slower units, and so with this you can actually make them more mobile than they actually are with their movement speed. So very good for you. So obviously for any other ranged unit this can be also very good, and you will mainly use this with ranged units because you want to spread the damage. Of course, once you have like 100 bowmen, you don't really want to focus that one unit unless it's a war elephant, of course. But you just want to spread the damage as much as you can, so you hit multiple targets, kill them at the same time, instead of just focusing one unit at a time. So very important for ranged units. For melee units, this actually is also pretty good to use, as like I said before, when you have your typical melee unit, you don't want to use attack move, as like I said, they will focus on that one unit, they will try to get close to it, but unfortunately there might be too many units around. It doesn't really have to be only enemy, even your units could be blocking the path. So you just want to get them close, press the stop key, and they will find their targets on their own and efficiently spread. Very important to learn this. And of course, Phalanx, hey, they can use it as well. That's also possible, but I think Phalanx is like one of those few exceptions where it really works. Now, few things before I forget. Charge units, Lancers, Wolf Traders, not really Berserkers, but like, you know, those that have charge on cooldown. For both of those, you don't really want to use attack move. The thing about those two units is, if you use attack move, they'll start charging the first unit they can, of course, and once they hit it, once they kill it, the units that were charging will suddenly lose the charge. I don't know what that is, why it is working that way, but basically when you use the attack move, the unit dies, the first target they were charging to, they will lose the charge and they will no longer charge at any other enemy unit nearby. They won't do that, and instead they'll just use a normal attack. But if you use like the stop button, of course, if they kill their target, they'll just charge to anything else. So you want to utilize it. Of course, you can just click on that one nearest unit, attack that, and once they kill that unit, they'll just spread across all the other units, same way as if you use the attack stop. Or move stop, I should say. That works. But don't use attack move with charging units. It's very inefficient for your damage output. Don't do that. And you can actually test it for yourself. It's very inefficient. And yeah, don't use Berserkers for this testing, of course, because Berserkers don't have charge on cooldown. You need Wolf Traders or Lancers for this. So that would be, I guess, everything. I don't think there's anything else to say. So yeah, remember, attack move can be good, but it might not be the best thing in this game. Of course, you can use it when you're moving your army into some location and you don't really want to pay your attention to it. Then it can be very worth using it. But try to get back to your army as soon as possible, as the attack move can kind of mess up with, for example, positioning of your army and get them somewhere where you don't want them, and suddenly you can lose a lot of units. So careful with that, and try to use move stop as much as you can, and try to practice it so you can see how efficient you can be with the move stop. It's definitely important to improve your gameplay. That's how I'm gonna say it. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope this will help you improve your gameplay as well. And if you find this useful, please make sure to press the like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and look forward to more. And hopefully you found this useful, and tell me how useful you found it in the comment section below. And yeah, this was Psychosaurus. I'll see you next time. Bye.